how's it going? I'm making this video here to be a helpful guide of tips and suggestions to help people with World Boss and putting together better supporter teams for their guild. There's a lot of people that are there's a lot of things that people are doing that are really good, and a lot of things that people are doing that are not helping their guild too much. So I've decided to actually put together a video to help people understand a lot of what's going on and a lot of things that I personally see that I could use that would be more helpful to me if people were doing, and they're the things that I'm trying to do. Now, this is just suggestions, this is just my opinion, so just take it as that. If you disagree, then you disagree, but hopefully these things will help you. So we'll go in here first and I'll show you guys the supporters management for World Boss and what I am running for my supporters. First off, there are like 3 or 4 things that everybody should be trying to do when deciding who to put in their support teams. First off, don't try to stack too many of the same class. In fact, you should always try to just keep it down to just one unit of any given class and spread it out. That way you're more likely to offer something that people really want, or that can help them in some way. The second thing is obviously try to stay in element. You want to try to get that bonus percentage as high as possible. And if your guild's giving you supporters that aren't in element, obviously it takes away from that. So there are exceptions, and that's the third thing is CP. It's a balance between hitting the element and having a decent CP for your teams. And I feel like the minimum you want for a team CP is 300,000. If you can stay in element and be over 300,000 CP, you're doing really well. The only time you would really want to start throwing in other units from other elements is if you have 0 ability to get above 300,000 otherwise. And also with the class. Like I said, so there's a lot of things I see that people really do that are really painful. One of those things is stacking tons of thieves and warriors. Even if I personally need thieves and warriors for my team mission, I'm sitting on at least 12 to 16 solidly built thieves and warriors. So if we go here and I'll show you, here are those knights. I'll show you right here. So I have, there's at least 14 that have a decent CP and are built and spread on almost every element. So the big thing is, like, try to, if you have them, try to give units that are less popular to build. Mages, knights, soul weavers, those are the 3 classes that are really hard for people to build or to even have. So if you can, always try to throw in the knights, mages, soul weavers, and even rangers, because there's not a whole lot of rangers in in the game to begin with, especially in 5-star, that are worth building. So if you have those 4 classes and you can get in the element and get high CP, that's going to help fill a lot of the empty spaces that other people are looking for to help them out. So as you see, I'll go through each element and show you guys quickly my what I have set up. Fire, I've got a knight, mage, ranger, thief. Not never, but almost never put a thief and a warrior. The only exception I have is in my light element, because light's really hard. It's ML heroes, light and dark, you're just doing what you can pretty much based on your luck with summons for mystics and moonlight heroes. So you might need to make a big exception there. But as you can see, even here though, even though I am running a knight, or I mean a warrior and a thief, I'm not running 2. I'm not running 2 warriors, I'm not running 2 thieves. I'm doing just 1 and 1, and then I'm doing a soul weaver and a ranger to try to help split up what classes I've got in those teams. Here's the water. Obviously everybody has Seaside Bologna almost, so she's in there. All my teams are over 300,000. All my teams are in element, and all of them are spread out. I don't have any of 2 of the same class. There's never any double class of anything. So again, I'm trying to give people as many of the harder classes. I've got mage, knight, and soul weaver. Here on dark I have knight, mage, and soul weaver as well. That way I'm giving as many opportunities to my guild to have what will help them. So anyway, now that you guys have seen my support teams here, that I'm and what I'm giving them, this should give you a good idea of how to set up your supporters. Again, first, try to stay in element, get your CP over 300,000. Try not to duplicate any kind of hero class. Put in a variety. Give them the 4 harder classes to build as much as you can. Knight, ranger, mage, soul weaver. If you don't have it, you don't have it. There's always exceptions to these suggestions, these rules that I give, but do what you can to try to stay in those 4 areas I've listed. Okay, so going back, we'll show you what my attack will be like and how I pick my supporters. So I've got thief and ranger. Now again, like, that's one of those things, like thieves, I have thieves for days because thieves and warriors are the most sought after in the game. They're strong, they can nuke, you can build them bruisery, they have some of the best artifacts in the game. So it's not too hard for me to come up with those 2 classes on my own. But see, now I have ranger, which is one of the 4 classes that are harder for people to come up with. And that's what I'm saying is why I recommend always try to hit those 4 classes that are less ideal for people to have actual built units in. So we'll go down. There is a quick thing I will explain about this. When you hit more, it'll bring up about 3 or 4 at a time. And there is a small, I don't know if it's a bug, it's just something that happens sometimes, is sometimes it will not give you all of the people in your guild. I always quickly load all the people as possible. I just keep clicking on more and more and more until it's done, and it looks like I pretty much have everybody in my guild. There will be times where it sometimes will only let me pull up about 8 to 12 people of my guild. If it ever does do that, it will fix itself if you just back out like this to this screen here and go back in, and then it should give you more choices of supporters from your guild. So keep that in mind if it ever happens. I've had it happen several times, and I found that if you just back out, it will quickly sort itself and give you all the people in your guild again. So we're gonna go down and get everybody loaded again. And so again, I'm looking for those 3 things. Is one, obviously I'm trying to get my team mission fulfilled, and I'm gonna look for people with those 2 classes and as many dark elemental heroes and high CP. Now these are kind of no-brainer things, but it is good to know how to put together a good supporter team to help your guild. And that was my big point here. Like, see, this one would be good, but there's no dark units at all. Really painful, even though he has a lot of the classes. And that's, you know, that players RNG on summons. They just haven't gotten any dark ML heroes, I guess. So right here, Penitent is got really good CP. He's got 2. That one's looking very favorable for me right now. This one I actually is kind of painful to see, because he's stacking 2 thieves and 2 warriors. Even though he's got 3 dark elemental units, the fact that he's stacking 2 thieves and 2 warriors, that's, yeah, that's pretty painful to look at, because it's, again, those classes that I can generally produce on my own. So hard pass on that one. Just keep scrolling down here to give you guys some more examples. So like this one here, they've got 4 dark elemental units. They've got good CP, it's over 300,000, but again, they're stacking 3 warrior classes. And that actually is a deterrent for me personally from wanting to select that as a support team, even if I had needed warriors. I probably would not go with that one even still. I'd be trying to cover my assets that I don't have, because I know I can come up with warriors. I know I can come up with thieves. Even if they're not an element, they're going to have high CP, which compensates. So this one's not too bad, although they are, again, 2 thieves and 1 warrior. Try to steer clear of doing that. PvE, this one's actually better than those other 2 that I said was bad. Like, it's got 2 thieves and it's got 1 warrior, so it's okay, I guess, if you had to stack 2 of the same class, but never 3, and never try to put warriors and thieves. Either do one or the other. I know it sounds like, well, what if that person had thieves and warriors? Again, I kind of still go into the rule of thumb is give what people don't have. Even if you can't know what their team mission's going to ask for, but it is generally sound advice to assume that most people don't have knights, mages, soul weavers or rangers. Um, they're just really hard to build with high CP, and so if you can, try to provide those gaps. Try to provide what isn't the easiest thing for people to come up with. Um, so it doesn't hurt to give them, put in one warrior or one thief or even one of each, but um, stay clear of that if you guys can. So yeah, there's a lot of because it's dark element. I understand that dark element's a really awful one to be showing this, making this video on, because most people just don't have that RNG. But we'll go ahead and go with Penitent, just because it's just got, I guess, it's got the Ranger and it's got a Thief and it's got 2 Dark Elemental and a high CP, so we'll just go with that. Alright, now we're on our teams. Let's go ahead and hit auto assign to start with. Now that we've done this, we're going to go ahead and start with my team mission classes. Always start by CP. If I'll pull it up, and I'll start with my thieves here. And my BBK is not really built right now. As you can see, she's only got 73,000 CP, so we're gonna pull her out, put K-Ron in there, and then I'm okay with Arbiter. On my first world boss, I used to try to evenly balance both runs before they made the changes, but now I think Smilegate's definitely overscaled the scoring and don't know how to balance it at all, to be honest. Smilegate just sucks at balancing things, and getting a triple S is almost impossible now, whereas before, when it was NPC support teams, it was very easy for me to get 2 triple S runs, and now it's almost impossible. So we'll just do what we can. So nowadays with the new changes, I just try to get my first run as high as possible, and my second run is a whatever. I just do whatever for that second run. So thieves look okay. My next class, which was Rangers, and we got SSB already out there. We got Lidica, who's already out there, and then they put in All-Rounder Wanda, which isn't even built, so we're gonna yank her out. Whereas her CP is 28,000. That's terrible. She's not even got any real gear on her, so definitely don't want to use her. It's better to have a non-elemental hero if their CP is like almost double of what the hero that does fall into element. So, and plus, always be mindful of your imprints. They do matter. They will increase the team's CP. So whereas my Watcher Shuri is triple S imprinted, he's going to be adding a lot of bonus CP. On my team 2 in the middle here, you can see that it's 278, but we've got my Shooting Star Jihadist in her own imprint. I've got my Seaside Bologna on one of the tiles of her own imprint. So always make sure you take the time to pull them out of those imprints and make sure that they're not screwing themselves. And another thing also to be aware of is with imprinting, it gives more of a CP bonus to units that have low values on that imprint. So like Seaside Bologna has a HP percent on her imprint. If you put heroes with a lower health than on those tiles, they're gonna get more CP gain than if I put somebody like Maid Chloe. Maid Chloe has high effect resistance. My Maid Chloe is built with high effect resistance and high HP. She's going to actually, if I switch her with Shadow Rose and move them around too much, she doesn't really change it that much. It doesn't give me as much as you would think because she's already got a lot of those stats. So anyway, try to make sure your imprints are the most efficient. My SS Achates actually has higher HP value than my Maid Chloe. So having my Maid Chloe and my Shadow Rose inside of Seaside Bologna's imprint there, SSB's imprint, gives me just a smidge, but it is a little bit more CP. And then on my other teams, so my A Ravi is actually going through a rework right now, so we're not going to run her. We're going to start doing 2 now that we've done our team mission classes. My Rangers and my Thieves are all set up. I'm going to do my Warriors and my Knights next. Shouldn't take too much, just a quick swap here because of how significantly lower my A Ravi. As you can see, if I scroll down, she's only 68,000 CP versus my Euphine, who's 113. So it's definitely more beneficial to me to swap it, even though I'm taking away the elemental bonus. I think if I look over the rest of this, though, it's very solid, and we're going to go ahead. You can calculate if you want before you start this. You can take your bonus percent, add 100% to that. So I have a 172% right now. If I add 100%, that's 272. Make it into a decimal, which is 2.72. And then you take all your CPs, add those together, times it by 2.72. And then you take that total and times it by 1.1. That will give you the total of your run. Now if you really want to learn it, I didn't come up with that math myself. It was from Tenna. He did a strategy guide on World Boss when it first came out. If you guys ever want to see how he does it, I do recommend it, but he doesn't give these supporter strategies. So anyway, I'll go ahead and show you guys how it plays out. I will just skip the actual fighting for one. It just lags like crazy, and hit skip here. I'm sure you guys don't really care. So not bad. Hey, sweet. Look at that. Painful. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know. Not too bad. Got a free Earth Summon. And that's actually pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Those are pretty decent rewards. I usually get total ass cheeks, but anyway, that's pretty much it. I hope these tips and some of the things you guys saw me doing will help you guys both in providing your guild with better supporters, as well as being aware of certain things. And best of luck to you guys with your world boss runs, and hopefully this will help as a guild to improve our supporters, get better world boss runs and better rewards. Laters.